right now. Behind us is the Pringapus temple. It is located inside the Pringapus village, located in the Sindoro mountain. It is approximately 32 kilometers northeast from the Temanggung city.
So looking from the structure of this temple, it's clearly a Hindu-based temple. It's another one just like what we found last time. Although the difference is that in terms of structure, this is more complete than what we went to when we went to Gondosuli. So basically, what really stands out in this temple is these two pictures we see beside us. It is observed that this could possibly mean that it's a demigod-based story, since they seem to be holding some important items that could represent power and something that's important when it comes to Hindu studies. Basically, it's yet another Hindu structure that is important when it comes to worship, and yet there's also another yoni over there. Although there's still again remains from the temple itself, it's not yet completed, but we can still enjoy some of the Hindu beliefs and also structures that both what is separated and what is actually already structured already is.
Perayaan Buddha itu pengambilan air suci kan di sana, di Umbul Jumprit, lalu disemayamkan di Candi Banyunibo. Setelah disatukan sama api di atas berapet, kemudian dibawa ke Candi Borobudur untuk ritual itu kan, perayaan. Kalau pas mau Waisak ya rame Umbul Jumprit. Itu kan seluruh umat Buddha, pusatnya di situ.
Okay, so right here we're currently in what is supposed to be the water resource for the temple itself. So this large body of water has been here for a very long time, ever since the Mataram Kuno era, typically used before actually doing prayers inside of the temple. Also a wonderful source of plants, and especially for planting vegetables. And no wonder that a lot of the area being surrounded here is fruits, vegetables, so it gives farmers an easier access. A portion of the Segi complex constructed in the 8th and 9th centuries is Candi Asu. It's a Hindu temple located in the central Javan region of Magelang. It is close to the road connecting to Bukit and Boyolali, and is nestled between the Mount Merapi and Mount Merbabu volcanoes. In the neighborhood, there was a myth that Dewi Dani, who was cursed by God, takes on a symbolic form in the Asu Segi temple. Although Dewi Dani is a royal descendant, she is very disgraceful due to her inability to control her exploding lustful passion. Dewi Dani's behavior made the gods curse her, turning her into an ox with a face like an asu or a dog as a punishment. To instruct people not to fall prey to free lust, the Asu temple was constructed. One of the Buddhist temples, this place of worship is thought to have been built sometime in the 8th century by the Shailendra dynasty. Though the precise date of construction is unknown due to the lack of reliable information. King Indra, the father of King Samaratunga of the Shailendra dynasty, is said to have had his ashes interred at the Pawon temple from 782 to 812 AD. As a sign of respect for King Indra, who was regarded to have attained the Bodhisattva level or Nirvana in Mahayana Buddhism, it was believed that there was a statue of a Bodhisattva in the room with the Pawon temple's main structure. Because it serves as a place where people can purge their bodies and minds of mental impurities. Experts contend that Pawon Temple serves as an entrance to the Borobudur Temple.
We are currently in Candi Umbul. Candi Umbul is located in Desa Katajo in Kecamatan Grab here in Magelang. So, if you might be wondering what's really inside here, well, the highlight of Candi Umbul is basically these. These are supposed to be the swimming pools that were found by the Dutch. So, this was invented around 8 masehi, according to scholars. What's interesting about this is that the water itself does not dry off in higher temperatures or very sunny seasons, just like at this moment. So usually this place is used for royal families or kings to bathe in. And its purpose is to be able to cure diseases, and also bathing in there is supposed to be a way for kings to wash away their sins before they start to pray.
The Banyunibo statue is situated in Yogyakarta Special Regency in Cipete Hamlet, Boko Harjo Village, Prambanan, and Selamat. A complex of temples with Buddhist roots is called Banyunibo Temple. This temple consists of one of the main temples facing west and 6 ancillary temples in the shape of stupas lined up in a row. 3 on the south side and 3 on the east side of the main temple. Banyunibo serves a variety of purposes in addition to serving as a place of worship, including hosting cultural performances for kings like dances and puppet shows. There are only specific individuals that can dance in there.
Gondosuli, which is a temple one of the temples related to Mataram Kuno. So we would like to explain to all of you.
Right now, we are seeing the remains of the top half of the Gondosuli temple. As you can see, it's still scattered, and this is actually not we all know that it's not the actual structure of the temple. And why is that?
So the reason why that happens is that, well, we first have to look at why this happened. For a lot of temples that we see in Mataram Kuno is that most of them are usually caused by a volcanic eruption. As you can see from that area, that is what you call Gunung Sumbing. So that's the mountain we can see beside. And actually, like what Kakandre has mentioned, this is actually the top part of the temple. So as we are standing here, what's below is actually the rest of the temple remains. So we want to know why the excavation has stopped. Well, as far as we can see from the area, that area is actually a public graveyard. So there's a least likely chance that archaeologists from Indonesia will be able to continue digging up this area. Also, you can see that fences being surrounded in this temple. We already know that the government uses that as a way to let people know that this is a historical preservation.
So among these remains of the temple, that one sticks out the most. Can you tell me what that is?
Well, this is actually what you call a yoni. It's a common symbol or structure that can be seen in a lot of Indonesian Hindu temples. And for a yoni, it's actually a symbolism for the womb, or as you can see, it's also the symbol of the goddess Shakti, who is a representation of the female generative power. And in Shivaism, the branch is to worship Shiva himself. So yoni is often associated with the lingam, which is, well, Shiva's symbol. Okay, so in here we can see that there is a brief information about what the inscription talks about. But from here we can see that there's information on how it's being structured. So basically it's 50 centimeters times 170 centimeters when it comes to the length. And it's made from andesite. And the way they utilize language is they use Jawa Kuno, and the language they use is Melayu Kuno, and it contains around 14 sentences. location, which is known as Candi Losari. What's unique about this is that this is pretty much a newfound discovery considering the location itself. Basically, this temple has been buried around 4 meters from the ground, and it's not yet complete, considering that we can see that there's still work that archaeologists have to do in order to complete this whole temple. However, other than that, you can see that there are different types of reliefs and the sites that are available here. This is a relief I assume could be from a god or goddess in Hindu. And in here we also have a relief that has some elephants right in the cheeks of the temple. And there's also another relief that has Mahakala too. So, other than the big temple, we also have what is called Bawawa temples. There's a total of 3 in here. These are basically the smaller versions of the temple. And here, these are one of the tools that archaeologists use to be able to find all of these stones. So this is typically used to brush away any dirt off. So just like that, archaeologists basically do that sort of stuff in order to find newfound discoveries in this in underground. And then we also have what I think is, a bucket. So I think this is supposed to be able to clean all of the dirt. It's a sewer. And here, that's just a bucket full of more brushes. And the way you can enter this area is through the stairs, considering that this has been buried right here. You might want to take the stairs to have a better look at it. So, from the top view, this is what the whole temple looks like. As you can see that it's really deep down. So, and again, it's not yet complete. However, people are free to see the beautiful reliefs and architecture that people at that time made. And that's basically the roof in order for the rain, or to prevent any of the rain to enter into the temple. Okay, so right here, this used to be a sala farm, looking at a lot of the trees in here. And I think somewhere in that area you can also see a cornfield. And basically, this was the area that Candi Losari was found. as Candi Sojiwan. So Candi Sojiwan can be found right over here, and it's basically a Buddha temple. The story of this came from a Rukam inscription, which dated in 829 CE. It said that the Rukam village decided they're asked to preserve this temple itself in a place called Lindwang. According to the inscription, it says that this was supposed to be dedicated to the queen named Dawadani. So after that, people have lately discovered this temple, and it took them years to construct all of this. And other than that, we can observe from the building itself that there are different types of reliefs and statues. Most of the reliefs are based off of Buddha ideologies and stories and such. And of course, we also have some stupas, just like any typical Buddha temples that you can see in most of the temples we went through. And that's all for Candi Sojiwan. See you later. So what can we conclude with the temples that I visited? Well, let's first analyze the architecture of it. It is dubbed the Vastu order, and this is just a way in order to analyze Javanese temples for Hindu and Buddhism. It is divided into 7 parts, which are the following: Upapita, Adhisthana, Pada, Prastara, Griva, Sikhara, and Stupi. First is the stupi, which is the pinnacle which marks the topmost point of the temple. Second is Sikhara, the pre-ultimate crowning piece in temples. Griva being the neck of the temple. Prastara, entablatures along with coordinating decorative accents and modeling. Pada is the pillar or wall. Adhisthana, the skull, with or without upapita or a pedestal. And finally upapita, which is the secondary seats. Hindu and Buddha temples during the Mataram Kuno era would typically use this Vastu order, which was originally based on the Indian temples. However, in some temples, it may not follow the Vastu order, since some of them may have unusual or even unprecedented architectural elaboration. What makes the philosophy interesting during the Mataram Kuno era was that the Javanese people at that time were aware of the value of plant diversity as a way of thinking about human existence. And as a result, such ornaments such as the solar motif has become a significant component in temples. This can be seen in the Borobudur temple, which contains 63 different types of plants, and it's used as ornaments there. And not only that, but particularly in Hindu and Buddhism, decorating temples and shrines have been known to be a form of worshipping the gods and goddesses, or one's ancestors. And temples like this also plays a significant role in including statues of gods and goddesses, reliefs of Hindu and Buddhism stories, and sometimes even show some of the societal aspects of Mataram Kuno. With these proofs of the temples, this means that the people at that time were able to have access in items and technologies that are meant for building. The reason of this could be the result of the Indians and Chinese people coming into Indonesia, and they were able to share their influence with the Javanese people. If we can summarize the evolution of how Mataram Kuno's kingdom moved into different capitals, the central of the early Mataram Kuno kingdom was Mataram, which is now modern-day Jogja. Second, it moved into Pulau Kedu, or also known as the Manggung by Bakal Bikatan. And then third, it moved into Popito Kedu by Dia Balitung. Fourth, the central of the kingdom is later moved to Mataram again by Dia Wawa. And fifth, it moved again into, this time, East Java by Mpu Sindok. There are several reasons in why Mataram Kuno has maintained such a strong kingdom of its time. First, King Sanjaya was a war expert. Second, it was the building of Hujung Galuh Reservoir that was established so that the merchant ships from Sri Lanka, Burma, Champa, Bengala can come into the harbor. Third, the reason why Mataram Kuno managed to move from Central Java to East Java was that there was a river there, and that river can be benefited for ships to come by. Fourth, there is a vast lowland for growing large rice paddies. And fifth, it's close to the main route of the spice trade to Malacca. However, a great kingdom comes with its great fall, and for Mataram Kuno, they declined due to several reasons. First would be the eruption of Mount Merapi. Second, a political crisis in 927 to 929 AD. Third would be the transfer of the kingdom from Central Java to East Java, and it was due to economic factors. Mataram Kuno has left a long-lasting impact in present-day Indonesia. Examples would be the current standing kingdom, Mataram Sultan. It is home to the arts of wayang and classical traditional Yogyakarta dances. One of the most prominent stories that are present within the arts of storytelling is the story of Ramayana. Originally, it was from the poem of Syair or Kakawin Ramayana, which was made as a Javanese rendering of the original Indian epic of Ramayana during the Mataram Kuno era. The second would be the traditional Javanese wood carvings in batik. Because I mentioned before that plant diversity is prominent in the philosophy of the Mataram Kuno era, the solar motif, which is a floral design, is often used to this day. So that means that the solar motif could be based on the temple carvings of that in Hindu and Buddhism temples in Indonesia. Another thing, the agrarian farming style is still used to this day as a way for agricultural economy in Indonesia. And despite the fall of Mataram Kuno, Hindu is still dominant, mostly in Bali, and Buddhism still remains prevalent in Indonesia. Despite the fact that majority of the Indonesian citizens are dominantly Islam, Mataram Kuno sure is an interesting topic to look back in, and it makes us realize how much it became the very seed of Indonesia's next Javanese kingdoms that will soon flourish, and as well as preserving the culture and the arts. Hopefully, people will take more interest into this topic. So, that concludes the whole Mataram Kuno series. Thank you for watching.